Explosive additional audio. Seymour Hersh confirms Seth Rich Wikileaks contact. On July 10, 2016, 27-year-old Democratic staffer Seth Conrad Rich was murdered in Washington, D.C., about a block from his apartment. The killer or killers took nothing from their victim, leaving behind his wallet, watch, and phone. Via Wikipedia, earlier that night he had been at Lou's City Bar, a sports pub 1.8 miles from his apartment in Columbia Heights, where he was a regular customer. He left when the bar was closing at about 1:30 or 1:45 a.m. Police were alerted to gunfire at 4:20 a.m. by an automated gunfire locator. Within approximately 1 minute after the gunshots, police officers found Rich with multiple gunshot wounds in a conscious and breathing state. 33, he was transported to a nearby hospital where he later died. According to police, he died from 2 shots to the back. Rich's mother told NBC's Washington affiliate WRC-TV there had been a struggle. His hands were bruised, his knees are bruised, his face is bruised, and yet he had 2 shots to his back, and yet they never took anything. They didn't finish robbing him. They just took his life. NBC4 reported on the murder. Shortly after the killing, Redditors and social media users were pursuing a, quote, lead, saying that Rich was en route to the FBI the morning of his murder, apparently intending to speak to special agents about an ongoing court case, possibly involving the Clinton family. Seth Rich's father, Joel, told reporters if it was a robbery, it failed because he still had his watch, he still had his money, he still had his credit cards, still had his phone, so it was a wasted effort, except we lost a life. The Metropolitan Police posted a reward for information on Rich's murder. In August, Wikileaks offered a $20,000 reward for information on the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich. Julian Assange also suggested in August that Seth Rich was a Wikileaks informant. As reported earlier today, NPR was attempting to stop the inquiries into the Seth Rich investigation once and for all. They thought their article that laid out a lawsuit against Fox News for reporting on the mysterious murder would end the investigation. Previously today, Big League Politics reporter Cassandra Fairbanks released a leaked audio of Rod Wheeler explaining the Fox coverage of Rich and how Aaron Rich, Seth's brother, was adamantly trying to stop all inquiries into the Wikileaks connection. If you didn't think that was enough, now we have journalist Seymour Hersh stating on record that not only was Seth Rich in contact with Wikileaks, but that he managed to get his hands on some of the original communications between Rich and Wikileaks. We can only wonder how long before NPR has to issue a full retraction on their article that attempted to claim there was no connection. In the audio posted below, Hersh confirms that Wikileaks had direct password access to the protected Dropbox, where Rich was uploading the files leaked from the DNC via Big League Politics. There are no DNC or Podesta emails that exist beyond May 21st or 22nd. Last email from either one of those groups. What the report says is that sometime in late spring, he makes contact with Wikileaks. That's in his computer, he says. Anyway, they found what he had done is that he had submitted a series of documents of emails, of juicy emails from the DNC. Hersh explains that it was unclear how the negotiations went, but that Wikileaks did obtain access to a password-protected Dropbox where Rich had put the files. All I know is that he offered a sample, an extensive sample, I'm sure dozens of emails, and said, I want money. Later, Wikileaks did get the password. He had a Dropbox, a protected Dropbox, he said. They got access to the Dropbox. Hersh also states that Rich had concerns about something happening to him, and had. The word was passed according to the NSA report. He also shared this Dropbox with a couple of friends so that if anything happens to me, it's not going to solve your problems, he added. WikiLeaks got access before he was killed. Let's take a listen.
Okay, I'll tell you what I know. What I know comes off an FBI report. Don't ask me how you can figure out I've been around long enough. The kid, I don't think he was murdered. I don't think he was murdered because of what he knew. The kid's a nice boy, 27. He was not an IT expert, but he learned stuff. He was a data programmer, but he learned stuff. And so he's living on one street somewhere. He's living in a very rough neighborhood. And in the exact area was where he's been, there's been about 10, I'm sure you know this, there's been about 8 or 9 or 10 violent, robberies. Most of them with somebody brandishing a gun. And the kid's hands, I'm telling you, but I'm sure you know it, his hands were marked out. The cops concluded he fought off the people, tried to run, and they shot him twice in the back with a 22 small caliber. And then the kids that did it ran. They got scared, didn't take his wallet. Okay. So what the cops do then, and here's what nobody knows, so I'm telling you. Now, maybe you know something about it. When you have a death like that, DC cops, if you're dead, you generally don't just go, you have to find out what's going on. You have to get to the kid's apartment and see what you can find. If he's dead, you don't need a warrant, but most cops get a warrant because they don't know if the guy has a roommate. You need a warrant. So they get a warrant. I'm just telling you, there is such a thing. They go in the house, they can't do much with his computer, his password, the cops don't know much about it. So the DC cops, they have a cyber unit in DC, and they're more sophisticated. They come and look at it. The idea is maybe he's had a series of exchanges with somebody who says, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker, or and they can't get in. The cyber guys do a little better, but they can't make sense of it. So they call the FBI cyber unit. The DC unit, the Washington field office, is a hot shit unit. The guy running the Washington field office, he's like a 3-star at an army base. He's already looking for 4. You know what I mean? He's going to go with a top job. There's a cyber unit there that's excellent. What you get in a warrant, the public information you get in a warrant doesn't include, it does not include the affidavit underlying why you're going in, what the reasons are. That's almost never available on. I can tell you that. The existence of a warrant is a public document 99% of the time. So, on the same warrant, they call in the Fed. The Feds get through, and here's what they find. This is according to the FBI report. What they find is he makes first of all, you have to know some basic facts. One of the basic facts is there's no DNC or protected email that exists beyond May 22nd, May 21st, 22nd. It's the last email from either one of those groups. And so what the report says is sometime in late spring, we're talking about June, summer's in June 21st. Late spring would be after, I presume, I don't know, I just say it says late spring, early summer. He makes contact with WikiLeaks. That's in his computer, and he makes contact. Now, I have to be careful because I met Julian and Julian 10, 12 years. I say the fuck away from people like that. And he said, invited me, and when I'm in London, I always get a message, come see me at the Ecuadorian embassy. There says, oh, fuck you, I'm going there. I've got enough trouble without getting photographed by every fucking day. He's under total surveillance by everybody. But anyway, they found what he had done. He had submitted a series of documents, of emails, some juicy emails from the DNC. And, by the way, all this shit about the DNC, whether hacked or wasn't hacked, but whatever happened, the Democrats themselves wrote this shit. You know what I mean? All I know is that he offered a sample, an extensive sample, I'm sure dozens of emails, and said, I want money. That later, WikiLeaks did get the password. He had a Dropbox, a protected Dropbox, which isn't hard to do. I mean, you don't have to be a whiz of IT with it. He was certainly, not a dumb kid. And they got access to the Dropbox. He also, and this is also in the FDA report, he also let people know with whom he was dealing. And I don't know how he dealt. I'll tell you about WikiLeaks in a second. I don't know how he dealt with the WikiLeaks and the mechanism. But he also, the word was passed according to the FDA report. I also shared this box with a couple of friends. So if anything happens to me, it's not going to solve your problem. Okay? I don't know what that means. I don't know whether anyway. But WikiLeaks got access. And before he was killed, I can tell you right now, Brennan's an asshole. I've known all these people for years. Clyburn sort of a better guy, but now rocket scientist. The NSA guy is a fucking moron. And the trouble with all those guys is that the only way they're going to make it to order to and get, hired by SAIC to deliver some fat cat contract is if Hillary stayed in. With Trump, they're gone. They're done. They're going to live in their pension. They're not going to make it. And I got to tell you, guys in that job, they don't want to live on their pension. They want to be on board like they're make $600,000 for going to four businesses. I have somebody on the inside. I've been around a long time. I read a lot of stuff. I have somebody on the inside who will go and read a file for me. This person is unbelievably accurate and careful. He's a very high-level guy. He'll do a favor. You're just going to have to trust me. I have what they call it in my business, long-form journalism. I have a narrative of how that whole fucking thing began. It's a Brennan operation. It was an American disinformation. And the fucking president, at one point when they even started telling the press, they were backbriefing the press. The head of the NSA was going and telling the press, this fucking cocksucker Rogers, was telling the press that we even know who in the GRU, the Russian military intelligence service, leaked it. I mean, all bullshit. They were telling these I worked at the New York Times for fucking years, and the trouble with the fucking New York Times is they have smart guys, but they're totally beholden on sources. If the president or the head of the CIA tells them something, they actually believe it. I was hired at the Times to write about it, to go after the war, the Vietnam War in '72, because they were just locked in. So that's what the Times is. These guys run the fucking Times. And Trump's not wrong. I mean, I wish he would calm down and have a better press secretary. You don't have to be so. Trump's not wrong to think they all fucking lied about him. I can tell you right.
Well, the language was kind of just, not up to par, but you get the drift that all this has been taken in, this information, that they're trying to construe that this was a botched robbery. It had nothing to do with the DNC. Yeah, okay, we'll believe that. They think the American people are stupid. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.